6 minutes. You have 6 minutes left of class and you don't know what to do and you'd love to just let the kids out early, but you're not really supposed to do that. But if you're virtual, you could probably do that. No one would know. It doesn't make sense to start something new. You could just stare at each other silently. Hi ladies and gents, my name is Thom Gibson. If you are new here, my channel is all about helping middle school STEM teachers design an engaging classroom experience for their students and a fulfilling teaching experience for themselves. Today we're talking about 4 things you can do when your lesson runs short. Whatever you do, try not to let on that you're like, we only have 6 minutes, I don't know what to do, because then the students will be like, can we just go? Pretend like you had a plan. And after watching this video, you will have a plan. All of these ideas can be done whether you're in person or remote. The first thing you can do, if you've only got a few minutes left of class, is debrief the class with your students. Get feedback from them on things that went well or things that didn't go well, or parts of the lesson that were really clear or parts that were like not super clear. I do this within my class almost every class period. It's not always like what went well and what didn't go well, but sometimes I'll assess different aspects of the lessons. Maybe engagement. I'll ask students to show me on a scale of 1 to 5 how they feel about something. Maybe, okay, a 1 would be like, I didn't really find this lesson super engaging. A 5 would be like, I really loved what we did today and I hope we get to do it again. Or I'll have them self-assess on how focused they were. A 1, I was super distracted, I was playing a little bit of Minecraft, and I'm still not even sure what we did today during class. 5 would be like, I really maximized my class time, I think I got a lot done, I was super focused. Or even just a 1 to 5 on how do you feel about your understanding of the content. 1, like I'm still really confused. A 5 would be, I feel like I could teach this to the class. And then also, of course, asking for verbal feedback is always really helpful. Is there anything that was particularly helpful about this lesson? Also, is there anything that was particularly unclear about this lesson that maybe I could try to clear up in the future? When you do this, don't take things personally. Let them know, like, you can be honest with me. I'm just trying to create a better experience for y'all. And then don't actually take anything personally. I have a whole video on how to actually structure this and do this with a class that I'll link right there if you want to dive deeper in how to debrief and get feedback from your students. The second thing you can do if your time is running short is play a little game called Which One Doesn't Belong. Now this one is a little bit more geared towards the math classroom, but there are some of them that you can do in virtually any classroom. You get a grid of 4 different shapes or 4 different numbers if maybe you are teaching math, and then you can make a case for any of them not belonging with the other 3. So with this shape one right here, you could say, which one doesn't belong? Create a case on why the top left one doesn't belong. And students can kind of analyze it, say like, well, that one's the only one that it doesn't have equilateral sides. All the other ones, they're different shapes, but all their sides are equal within that shape. And so they're kind of thinking through like what makes these things similar and then that one different. Or make a case on why the top right one doesn't belong. You can say, well, that is the only one that is actually shaded in when the other ones are white. Or make a case for why the bottom right one doesn't belong. You can say, well, that's the only one that is more than 4 sides. All the rest of them are 4-sided shapes. And so it's kind of fun to kind of think through some of these and do a few of them. I would do some of the number ones if you are teaching math. Of course, the shape ones could probably work with any class. It's a little bit more thoughtful way of using those last 6 minutes of class. And a bunch of them can be found at wodb.ca. Which one doesn't belong? wodb.ca, and I'll link to that in the description as well. The third thing you can do if you only got a few minutes left of class is play these little word riddles. 26 L of the A. 26 letters of the alphabet. 12 S of the Z. 12 signs of the zodiac. 7 D N A W. 7 days in a week. This is super engaging. These little riddles, like everyone just gets locked into them and tries to figure them out. This was my go-to activity when I was a substitute teacher and like the sub plans like left me with like 20 minutes of nothing to do. I would do this for 15 or 20 minutes in class and the kids were locked into it. Sometimes I would write them up on the board and then the students would just analyze it. And then once someone yelled the right answer, I'm like, that's right. And then I would erase it. Or sometimes I'd actually even print them out and then have the students go through as many as they could and say, okay, you can go over them, 10 minutes to go over them, and then we'll talk about them and say, who got this one? Who got this one? So several ways you can do it. Or if you're virtual, you can just project some of them or even just write it in the chat. I would start out super easy and then just get progressively harder. I'll link to a website down in the description that's got 40 different ones, and it's also got the answers down there because there's probably a lot that you don't even know. And it's just a fun little activity to do at the end of class. The fourth thing you can do in the 6 minutes that you have left is play Among Us with your students. Among Us is right now the most popular mobile game that kids are playing. It's like Mafia and involves a group of people, and there's 1 or 2 imposters that are going around in the game and they're killing people, and then no one knows who the imposters are, and so the imposters are trying to make it sound like they're not the imposter, and then other people are trying to say,
oh, I think it was the red character because they were in the room right after someone had died.
It takes a little getting used to as a teacher to figure out how to play it. I played it a couple times. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. What are you talking about? I need to do these tasks. What tasks? But the kids love it. Once you actually get the hang of it, it's actually pretty fun. I have played it outside of just doing this with my students. And at the time of watching this, maybe Among Us is not the popular game of choice, but there is a game that probably most of them are playing. And so just ask, like, hey, what's the game that a lot of people are playing on their phones? Probably because that's probably gonna be the most accessible game. Like, everyone might be playing Overwatch, but you're not gonna do like a first-person shooter PC game because like most students might not have that. But I've seen students like that don't really talk during class. When we're playing Among Us, it's like they unmute during the time where you're kind of saying who you think it is and who you think it isn't and who should we vote off, and they're turning their cameras on, and it's really fun. It's really engaging, and the students love playing it, and you're connecting with them with something that's they're into and meeting them where they're at. I would make a rule about this. Once you actually start playing this, tell the students, if you ever ask me in class, can we play Among Us, we will not play that day. Because if you do it once and then like maybe your lesson's kind of boring that day, the students like,
can we play Among Us? Yeah, let's play Among Us.
If you tell them, if you ask for it, it's not happening, then the students will quickly shut each other down.
Like, don't say anything.
So that way it just becomes something that when you do have a little bit of time and you're kind of in the mood to do it, you can go ahead and have them play. So the big question is, how do you make your normal class time before those last 6 minutes that you don't know what to do an engaging experience? I have a video linked right there on 3 ways that you can make remote learning, distance learning, not terrible. So if you are doing distance learning or doing some kind of hybrid, you can go check out some of the ideas there. My name's Thom Gibson. Hope you learned something today that'll help you design an engaging and fulfilling middle school STEM classroom experience. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video.